were coming up fast. A moment later, Ryker could see them on his radar. He could hear his wingman shouting in his headset for him to get out of there as Ryker kept climbing. 8,000 feet, 9,000 feet, 10,000. But it was becoming clear they weren't going to be able to outrun these guys. "Stroke 6, brake right, Ryker suddenly ordered. Captain Mike Merkel didn't question the order, he just obeyed it, braking right the instant he was told. But Ryker was still climbing. 11,000 feet, 12,000, 13,000. Suddenly, new warning sirens sounded in his headset. One of the MiGs had just fired on him. With only a split second to decide, Ryker broke left, forced his yoke down, and began diving for the deck. 12,000 feet, 11,000, 10,000, 9,000. And now Merkel was in trouble. Stroke 5, this guy is right on my tail." But Ryker was in no position to help. A Soviet-made R-73 guided missile had locked onto his jet and was coming in red-hot. Sweat was pouring down the inside of his flight suit. He was sucking in oxygen as fast as it entered his helmet. The G-forces were rising fast. He was in danger of blacking out, yet Ryker kept diving. 8,000 feet, 7,000. Stroke 5, where are you?" Merkel shouted. "Get back here, I need you now." But there was nothing Ryker could do. Not yet. Not unless he found a way to break free of this missile and the MiG-29 getting ready to fire another. What's more, there was no time to think, no time for calculations, no time to ask the controller for guidance. Ryker was flying purely by instinct now, and he understood the stakes. Hurtling toward the ground, he knew full well that if he waited too long, he wouldn't have enough time to pull out of the dive. But if he pulled out too quickly, the missile would catch him and blow him to kingdom come. And he didn't want to die, not here, not yet. Not on the first night of air operations. Pull up! He could hear the controller screaming in his headset. But Ryker still kept diving. 6,000 feet. 5,000. 4,000. Just then he broke through the cloud cover. He was no longer over the desert. With all his high-speed zigzagging, he was now back over Basra. That was a critical mistake, one that could cost him. He could see AAA contrails all around him. Even if he did shake the missile, he could still get shot down by artillery fire. But one battle at a time. It was now or never. Ryker quickly throttled back his engines, reduced speed, and pulled back on the yoke with every ounce of strength he had. He could see the Shat al-Arab River rushing up at him. He was certain this was going to be the end. The faces of his wife and 3 kids flashed before him just as he was about to. But then the nose of the F-16 began to rise. The trajectory of the world's most advanced fighter jet finally began to correct. With no time left and no margin for error, Ryker pulled out of the dive, leveled, and found himself skimming over the banks of the river. That's when he felt the shock wave of the R-73 detonating behind him. Once again, the entire cockpit shuddered. So did the wings and fuselage. It had been close, too close. But the F-16 held together. Ryker was alive, and he was itching to get back on offense. He hit the afterburner and felt his body jolt back in his seat. His Fighting Falcon now had an instant 50% boost in speed, though it was also burning 8 times as much fuel. But fuel wasn't his concern. Saving Merkel was. Ryker radioed the AWACS, received Merkel's coordinates, and raced to catch up. Stroke 6 was in an epic aerial battle. He now had both of the original MiGs on his tail, but that wasn't all. The controller said 2 more MiGs were readying for takeoff from a nearby enemy airfield that was under Allied bombardment at that very moment, but not yet out of commission. Seconds later, Ryker spotted the 2 bandits directly above him, 3 miles out and closing fast on Merkel. Stroke 6, when I count to 3, brake right and dive. I'm coming up underneath these guys and I don't think they see me yet. Merkel confirmed, and Ryker began the count. But just at that moment, Ryker saw the lead MiG fire. Merkel couldn't wait. For some reason he broke left instead of right, then went into a spiraling nosedive. The Iraqis followed suit. Ryker had no shot to light up the lead bandit, but the second MiG was in perfect position. I have tone, I have a lock. Fox 2, Ryker shouted. The AIM-9 Sidewinder exploded from under Ryker's right wing. Banking left and following the 3 jets into another suicidal dive, Ryker watched the missile home in on the closest Iraqi fighter. An instant later, a blinding explosion filled the night sky. Splash one! Ryker erupted. But there was no time to celebrate. Merkel radioed that he had just successfully eluded the first missile, which had slammed into an office building. But no matter what he did, he couldn't shake the remaining MiG. The Iraqi was hot on his tail as Merkel streaked down city streets, under bridges, and dangerously close to power lines. Merkel was doing exactly what the controller was telling him to do, stay low and hug the terrain as best he could.